Thank you for listening to the Weeknight Mysteries podcast. My name is Yuras. I am here with Rain. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm feeling completely okay as always. And how are you?
I'm good. Today we are going to be talking about the strange death of Phoebe Handsjuk. I hope I pronounced her last name correctly.
Sounds pretty okay, yeah?
You found this case. You wanted to take a look into it.
Yeah, I just find it so creepy. Well, there's nothing special in how I managed to find this case. I was literally just scrolling through my phone. There was an Instagram reel, and I read a little bit about it, and it seemed very intriguing. It's still unsolved, although it feels like it should be, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a very strange death. On December 2nd, which was a Thursday in 2010, 24-year-old Phoebe Handsjuk, she was found dead after falling 12 stories down a garbage chute of her boyfriend's Melbourne apartment complex. While the police quickly ruled her death an accident, her family believes there are unanswered questions, and the inconsistencies suggest foul play to her family. So once again, circumstances of Phoebe's death are bizarre. She fell feet first down a garbage chute, surviving the initial 30-meter drop, but then fatally losing blood due to injuries from the rubbish compactor blade that was compacting the rubbish. I've never heard about this type of a death ever in my life.
It sounds really morbid, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Have you ever lived or stayed in an apartment with a garbage chute?
No, not at all. This concept is very foreign to me, honestly, and I don't know how it's supposed to look like. Like, what's the size of it? Can you actually fit a human being inside?
So, after the fact, they did some tests, and I think you can actually fit inside of a garbage chute. The problem is, how do you get in it in the first place? Because it's kind of like inconvenient for a person to go into it.
Like the door is kind of tilted, right?
Yeah.
In a way that it's hard to get in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, here where I'm from, like Lithuania, we basically have old apartment complexes, like from the Soviet Union time. And they did have these garbage chutes, but I've never heard about anyone dying by jumping down a garbage chute from like a upper level of the
I heard you
apartment.
mention it's really nasty.
Well, of course, it didn't work pretty well in this country. But I think all of them are like sealed off by now. No one's using them anymore because, yeah, it just was never a good idea, especially for the people living on the first floor.
Oh yeah, I can imagine the stench,
And they constantly hear
the banging. Yeah.
garbage going down.
Was your apartment? Did it had?
I think when it was built, the one that I grew up in, I think it had a garbage chute, but I don't remember it already as a kid. So I think they weren't using it by the time I was born.
I see, I see. And growing up, did you ever had any conversations wherein there was kind of like a prank or a dare of like going down there? I'm just trying to get the
I
general
don't think so
idea.
because it was nasty. So I don't think anyone's trying to go down there.
I'm just trying to like picture if someone actually went in and survived or something.
Oh, I don't know. So let's talk a little bit about Phoebe herself, okay? She was born in 86. She grew up in Melbourne in a close-knit family with her parents and her younger brothers. She was a free-spirited, adventurous child. She excelled in physical challenges like rock climbing and hiking, so she was quite athletic. In her teenage years, she began experimenting with drugs and alcohol. She struggled with mood swings, leading to a period of instability. Phoebe had a tendency to fall in love with older men and start relationships with older men. This started happening when she was just 16, By her early 20s, she was battling alcohol dependence, which her mother believed made her highly vulnerable in those relationships. Despite her struggles, she was a creative and deeply empathetic person with dreams of working in aid programs overseas. Phoebe met her promoter boyfriend, Antony Hampel. He was a known event promoter in Melbourne area. She met Antony in 2009. She was 23. She was working at a hair salon where Antony was a regular client. Antony was almost 40. He was like 39 at the time, so she was only 23. Antony was also the son of a retired Supreme Court judge and the stepson of a serving county court judge. He was well connected, allegedly. He had some money, and he was surrounded by glamorous social circles.
He's definitely well connected. Can you imagine your parent is a Supreme Court judge? Damn.
I don't think his parent was, right?
Right, his dad.
He was the son of a retired Supreme Court judge. Oh yeah, that's true. So his dad was a retired...
A big timer.
Definitely not the ordinary civilian.
Nope.
So after she started dating this guy, the next 14 months, Phoebe decided to go on heavy drinking binges. She started drinking heavily. She told her psychiatrist that Antony was verbally abusive to her. Their relationship appeared strained. Phoebe frequently struggled to fit into Antony's lifestyle. I read something that Antony was a neat freak, like he liked his apartment to look like it hasn't even been lived in. And I think that was maybe like causing some friction. She left him multiple times in the weeks before her death, but always returned. I believe the number was 4. She left Antony 4 times, but always came back. I mean, this is a volatile relationship.
Extremely, yeah.
Her friends described Antony as controlling. Phoebe reportedly fell out of place among his friends.
I kind of see it, mainly because the age gap. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Because it's like 23, you're super young. You want to like explore, and you're not that organized. I mean, I'm not that organized. And you're together with an older, like twice your age, who probably already has his life figured out by then, or a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's just strange that she would fall for this guy. I guess I could see the appeal though, because this guy from the outside does look like he's a big time player. So I could see how that would be like, I don't know, attractive. But then again, it's like he's 39.
I don't know. He's not bad looking.
Definitely not. I'm not saying he
Yeah.
looks bad. He looks like he takes care of himself. I'm just saying the age gap probably,
It's insane.
or like was like causing some friction.
Definitely.
Right. So the day before Phoebe died, she sent a strange text message to her family. I think you found this piece of information. I later also found it, but maybe you could, if you have it on your notes, maybe you could read it. What did Phoebe send to her parents? I think she sent this weird text message to like not just her parents. I think Antony was also the same person, and she sent it to a bunch of people. Okay, let's read it.
Okay. Hi, family. I am in bed about to sleep, and when I wake, I will transform into the most incredible human being. I suppose it's supposed to be being. And sick you've ever seen. Not I will go to hospital. It's safer there, and I hear the special tonight is tomato soup. delicious, nutritious. I love you all very much, but not enough to send an individual text. Sorry about that, but time is asleep and I must be on my way. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream. XO.
I mean, it has a lot of grammatical problems here.
I'm assuming this is a drunk text. It clearly is.
Yeah, it feels like it's a drunk text, like she's just sending out this text.
And for our listeners, it's like random words are in caps. Like all caps.
Oh yeah, like hi family is in caps, then when I wake.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I feel like this text message was not a regular thing for her to send to her family, gauging from how they reacted.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think everyone who received this text message
Got weirded out. Apparently.
got weirded out, yeah, and they wanted to get a hold of her. Now let's jump to December 2nd, which was that fateful Thursday in 2010. Phoebe and her father Len actually made plans to meet Antony for dinner on that day. Apparently, they just wanted to catch up, nothing too special. In the meantime, Phoebe was hanging around the apartment she shared with Antony. I found some information that on that Thursday, Antony was just working. So I found something that said that he went to the gym. I think the gym is part of the apartment complex. And by 9 a.m. in the morning, he already left for work. As he left for work, he said that he saw Phoebe sleeping in her bed. So at some point, Phoebe wakes up. She is caught on CCTV footage leaving the apartment at 11:44 a.m. I think there was also a fire alarm, and I think she just went outside. I think that fire alarm is not connected to the case. It's just something that happened in the apartment complex. She walked her dog. I don't know exactly whose dog it was, because...
Wait. Were they living together or separately?
Yeah, they were living in the same apartment on the 12th floor. And this building, I think, has 21 floors. So they were kind of like on the upper floors, but also like not on the top floor.
Mid.
Yeah, in the mid level. So yeah, we have one image of her walking out her dog. I don't know if you've seen this CCTV, but it looks kind of regular to me. It looks like she's just wearing whatever a regular person would wear. Going
Jeans
outside.
and a tank top, walking her dog with shades on.
Yeah, it's
And nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Phoebe is like employed at this point. I still think she is, because I think one of the people that she sent that strange message the day prior was her boss. I think still at the hair salon. I mean, have you ever been able to find what she was doing at the time of her death?
No, actually, I was supposed to ask you if you found something about it.
I just had that hair salon.
No, I'm just gonna assume she was still a hairdresser at that time.
I don't think she was even a hairdresser. I think she was working the counter at the hair salon.
Oh, really? Like
I
a
believe-
receptionist-ish?
Yeah, I believe. In the hours that followed, she drank heavily. And we know this because when they found her body, she had a fairly high alcohol level. And at some point, she left her apartment for the second time. But this second time wasn't caught on camera. And I don't know if she... how they even know that she left the apartment for the second time.
Without retrieving the CCTV footage.
Yeah.
Who saw her?
Maybe it's like the lock on the door, but it's 20.
It registers?
But it's 2010, so it's,
It's not that high tech back then, no?
Yeah, but the building is quite high tech. I don't know. I think they were able to somehow, at least according to the information that I found, that they're saying that she left again.
Using the same pathway.
I have no idea.
Because if she did use the same route that she took earlier, then it's super weird that...
She would have been caught on CCTV, yeah. Well, we don't know.
And then, is there any other way out?
I think there is. potentially, 'cause
Without CCTV in a fancy apartment building.
maybe not. I don't know. And then she plunged to her death through the garage, to the garbage chute on the 12th floor. So, yeah, from here, only Antony, the boyfriend, can explain what happened next, because he claims that he arrived home from work shortly after 6 p.m. and he was met by shards of broken glass and blood splattered across the keyboard and computer. Phoebe was nowhere to be found, but her purse, wallet, and keys sat on the kitchen counter. There were also 2 used wine glasses on the table that would never be dusted for prints. Okay, so 2 wine glasses. Not sure if Phoebe was using them, or one of them, or both of them, when she was potentially drinking.
Oh, come on. It would be for someone else. Because I could imagine myself, if I'm drinking, I would only use my wine glass, and if I went wild, I would have drank straight from the bottle. Why get 2?
Yeah, maybe it's from like the day ago or something. Because she has been drinking leading up to her death. So it could be like from the previous day.
But the fact that none of those glasses were dusted for prints is kind of sketchy,
I don't think it's sketchy. I just feel like it's like a bad police work. But I don't find it sketchy. However, investigators later found that Phoebe was dead in a pool of her own blood next to a trolley bin in the ground floor refuse room. She had long been dead by the time they had found her. She had blood alcohol level of 0.16 in her system, more than 3 times the legal limit, and 1 or 2 sleeping pills of Stilnox, a prescription sedative formerly known as Zolpidem, in her stomach.
I actually tried Googling the side effect of this medicine, of this pill.
Yeah.
And one of which is like drowsiness, usual, dizziness, headache. And the most particular one is sleepwalking.
Wait.
Or doing activities while not fully awake. Example, eating or driving. One of the more serious and stranger risks of the drug.
Oh my god, really? Okay. That's crazy.
It's insane. Yeah.
Okay. Police initially suspected a suicide, but the coroner's report ruled her death a freak accident. The report stated that Phoebe was likely in a sleepwalking state. There are several factors that don't add up. For example, she would have had to climb into the chute feet first, which is difficult to do while in a sleepwalking state. Additionally, the chute had a trapdoor that would have required someone to hold it open while Phoebe climbed in. Yeah, the first thing that kind of jumps to everyone here is that she was found feet first. And we have an image of some people trying to test out the chute. Do you see those pictures? Yeah, you're looking at them. It would be, I think, easier to go head first.
Definitely.
Feet first just feels weird. Like, how do you even get into it? In a sleepwalking state? What do you think?
I completely agree, because I'm looking at the pictures right now, and whoever they got, it looks sober. Regular.
I think the person that they were doing, this is like a test that was done by some, I think, Australian like TV channel, and they got a girl who matched the physical characteristics to Phoebe. Also like a petite girl, same height, and yeah,
She barely fit in.
she barely fit in, and she's sober, and she looks like she's really trying hard. Former Supreme Court Judge Antony Hampel said he was surprised that police never conducted their own experiment into how someone would get themselves down the chute, because apparently police just thought it was a suicide and they didn't think much of it.
Former Supreme Court judge, that means the father.
I think it's a different person.
Okay.
But it wasn't, because, it would be kind of like he's casting suspicions on his own son. So I think it's not the same guy. But it wasn't the only glaring oversight investigators failed to take into account. They neglected to secure all the CCTV footage from the apartment block on the night of her death, and did not seize any computers and electronic devices from her apartment.
I knew it. There could be a chance that there was a footage of her going out the second time. They just lost it.
I think maybe what's happening is that, those CCTV footages, cameras, they don't keep memory. They keep memory for 24
A certain period of time, yeah.
Yeah, 24 hours. And
48 hours max, maybe.
Yeah, and then they didn't get it in time. Yeah, so I feel like this was mishandling of the case. When her family eventually accessed Phoebe's laptop, they discovered that her outgoing emails had been deleted. So we don't know what's happening here. Did Antony delete them? Does he have something to hide on Phoebe's outgoing emails? But her incoming emails were still there, as I understand. How would this be suspicious?
I find it suspicious mainly because it doesn't seem like it was Phoebe who did it. She was 23, and as you mentioned earlier, they were having fights about being neat and all. I personally don't delete those outgoing ones, and so I'm assuming a regular person wouldn't even bother, would you?
Probably not. But then what could be what suspicious stuff could be beyond those? Think about it. Phoebe's outgoing thing. The one thing that jumps to my mind is maybe Antony was sending some of them in Phoebe's name, and Antony deleted them because he didn't want, I don't know, things like that.
Potentially, because
what could be there? What's the worst thing that could be on Phoebe's outgoing? And if the incoming are still there, then I don't know what that means.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, if she actually sent emails to multiple different people, wouldn't those people actually say something?
Yeah, exactly, because she was sending them to someone. Unless that other person receiving these also wouldn't want anyone to know about it. Also, she had the two phones. She had an iPhone and she had a Nokia. And the Nokia has never been found. So it's another thing that the family thinks is strange. And I have to say, why would she have two phones in the first place?
I know this is not the case, but I just have to say it. Do you think one could be a work phone?
I doubt it.
I doubt it either. I just have to say it out loud. No. And I know I had a friend who had a couple of... Yeah, two phones. One was because he was using it to talk to other, chicks.
Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
And the one is the legal phone, basically. Everyone knows he had that phone. And the second one's kind of like a secret phone.
Okay. To kind of hide his tracks.
Mm-hmm.
From what, his girlfriend or something?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep. Mostly. I don't know, it could not be the case. It could be just that was her old phone, and then she got an iPhone from Antony, but she doesn't really want to get rid of the stuff in her old Nokia.
I wonder how important this Nokia phone is, because Nokia phone was not found. Why would it be suspicious? I mean, I'm trying to think. I have no idea. I could see how someone like Phoebe could just have two phones because she had the Nokia, but it was 2010. I think the iPhones were just coming out, and she got an iPhone, and now because it's like the cool phone,
Yeah.
and now she has two phones.
Yeah, I could see that happening as well. Yeah.
And maybe she lost that Nokia some time ago.
I'm wondering if she had it on the same day that she
exactly.
disappeared.
Like
No.
when was the last time she had
Yeah.
Nokia phone? Mm-hmm. And if not, like we have to think about, what could be suspicious about it? Like Antony like getting rid of a 2010 Nokia. Like a 2010 Nokia is not gonna have that much incriminating stuff on it. It's gonna have
It's like text messages.
text messages and phone logs. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of strange. I don't know. Do you think that there's a chance that Antony got rid of the Nokia and deleted her outgoing emails?
Potentially, yeah. I'm just assuming here, but yes.
You think there is a chance?
There's a chance.
Okay. I mean,
At least for me.
We're not saying he's guilty.
And we're not experts here. We're just assuming things from how we see them and how it is online.
Yeah, so basically the coroner, this is how they explained the incident. They said that Phoebe broke in a glass, cut herself, and then had gone to the garbage chute to dispose of the broken glass. So she didn't cut herself, I think, to, do self-harm. I think she just cut herself in general. That's what the coroner is saying. And that she somehow sleepwalked into the garbage chute feet first, which is quite
And instead
hard to believe, it's quite
instead
hard.
of throwing the glass away, she threw herself away.
Yeah, and then there were no matching glass shards to the one found in her unit. However, I could also see how it could just be lost. Because, there was like a ton of trash and it all got mangled up. And the police didn't really do a proper job investigating. So I'm kind of thinking, I bet there's a chance, or I feel like there's a chance that that piece could have been in the general trash, just kind of got mangled up down there.
Oh, come on. These are the same police people who forgot to check the fingerprints of the glasses.
Yeah, so you agree with me, right? Despite Antony being the last person to see Phoebe alive, he was never officially charged or even considered a suspect in her death. However, his behavior following her death was suspicious. Some examples provided of his suspicious behavior is that he hired a private investigator and then fired him without explanation. So, I think...
Because he got caught, maybe? I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe that's what's happening there. That the PI is like digging into Antony, and he didn't like that. Additionally, he sold his apartment just weeks after her death, and that was weird for some people. So I honestly, I'm like I'm just not trying to like push a narrative here. I'm just literally thinking to myself, I don't necessarily find it that strange, either of them, because maybe Antony hired in general, him hiring a private investigator is something that makes him look okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad to do that. And
firing that private
firing him, maybe he was doing a bad job, or maybe he was looking into Antony. Because I think maybe, when you get... First of all, why would he even hire a PI? If he had nothing to do with it, then wouldn't he believe the official explanation? Why is he hiring a PI? Like, doesn't he also believe the official explanation at some point?
Maybe he's thinking that someone was with Phoebe when he was away at work.
That's a good point. That he tried to figure that out.
Like, who was it?
Yeah, I could see that. That's actually a good idea. Mm-hmm. And then him selling the apartment, I think it's just normal.
Honestly, I think I would do the same.
I feel like I wouldn't want to live in that place
Yeah, there's
anymore.
so much bad memories, like, all over that apartment. I would also do the same.
I would get out of there if I could.
Yeah.
Several years after her death, new evidence came to light. And this further fueled suspicions of foul play. And these two things, or like several things that came out in 2017, made me question the case again. because it was revealed that there were scratches on Antony's body on the night of her death. And Antony claimed that those scratches were from a martial arts class that he attended earlier that day. Do you know what kind of martial arts he was doing?
I don't know. You're the one who went into a
I mean-
kickboxing class. Maybe you have more idea.
Yeah, but I'm thinking what kind of martial art he was doing, because I'm thinking, would it make sense for that martial art to like leave scratch marks? Yeah,
No.
I did like, yeah, I went to like a kickboxing class.
Would you go back home with scratch marks?
Never.
And
I mean,
do you know anyone who did martial arts and they had scratches?
I feel like
after?
like if it's grappling, if it's like that jujitsu where it's like you're kind of like, tossing each other around, or like
Yeah.
judo, then yeah, but like it depends. I never had it in my life. Albeit we didn't really were like professionals. We were just messing around, but still.
Was he a professional then?
No, he definitely wasn't either. So, but I think that's not the problem. The problem is that it happened on the same day when Phoebe died.
I kind of want to know if someone saw him in that martial arts class.
Yeah.
Someone could vouch that he was there.
And I think I read that he went to the gym.
Yeah, in the morning, right? And then he went to work.
So when did he go to this?
And then
maybe
he
the-
went back home 6 p.m. And in that time frame, he managed to squeeze in a martial arts class. Like, man, I would love to have his time management skills.
Furthermore, there was another thing. A blood-stained shirt was found in the garbage compactor where Phoebe's body was also found. So a blood-stained shirt. So it could have been from anyone, from the building, because it's a garbage chute. However, DNA testing showed that there was a mixture of Antony's and Phoebe's DNA on it. So it was a bloody t-shirt with Antony and Phoebe's DNA. So first of all, before we jump to conclusions, I think I'm like the worst DNA expert of all time. I know absolutely nothing about it, but to me, it doesn't immediately seem like this is insanely incriminating, because if two people live together, I could see how there would be DNA on the same shirt.
I agree, but was this shirt found with Phoebe or like separately?
The shirt was found in the garbage compactor along with Phoebe's body.
What does that mean? Like, was she wearing it or was it next to her?
So I don't know, because from the CCTV footage that we've seen, remember she was wearing a gray tank top. So was it this tank top that was recovered? I don't know.
Probably not. Probably just a
A
t-shirt.
different shirt. But how would
assuming.
a different bloody t-shirt with both of their DNA get into the garbage chute?
I could imagine, as you mentioned, two people living together would share like DNA and all on the shirt. So if we're going with the theory that Phoebe did it to herself, maybe she was carrying like an extra shirt with her as she went in.
Maybe she cut herself, she cleaned herself up with that t-shirt,
Yeah,
and then she
wrapped it on her hand or
wrapped
something.
her, yeah. Antony went on to date a 25-year-old model Baillee Schneider in 2018. So before that, he, I think, was married with another woman after, Phoebe died in 2010. And he separated with that other woman.
Is she still alive?
That woman? I think, yeah, she apparently she lives in London now. And I have some information on that. But this is the weird part here. Baillee Schneider was 25. Antony was already, I think, 47. So once again, a huge time, even a bigger time, age gap this time. And 9 months into their relationship, Baillee Schneider was dead with a gold cord wrapped around her neck. Hours after the two of them, I think, broke up, as I understand, she was discovered at her family home in Money Ponds. Her death was ruled self-harm via asphyxiation, but her parents insist that this is not. That was not possible. I'm gonna tell you why in a bit.
How would you even wrap a gold cord around your neck?
I'm gonna tell you in a little bit. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about Baillee Schneider's case. Australian woman Baillee, well, both of them, Baillee and Phoebe, they passed away 8 years apart from each other. Phoebe, she died in 2010 and Baillee died in 2018. Circumstances surrounding their death had received a lot of media attention, and the key reason why is both of them were dating Antony Hampel at the time of their death. What happened to Baillee Schneider? A little over a year ago, by the time, well, I'm just reading an article right now, so that's why it said this. Like, it didn't happen a year ago, it happened in 2018. Melbourne model Baillee Schneider, she was found unconscious at her parents' Money Ponds home. There was a gold-colored cord which was tied tightly around her neck. The 25-year-old never regained consciousness, and her parents, who discovered her, were left to wonder whether a difficult period in her life, marked by occasional trouble with alcohol, drugs, and erratic behavior, had forced their daughter into an extreme act of self-harm. At the first anniversary of her death, Cameron and Sabine Schneider, I think these are the parents, they remain unsettled by aspects of her case, and police working under the direction of the Victorian coroner continue to investigate. Most confounding is the lack of an obvious point in the kitchen where she was found dead, from where the 178 centimeter tall woman could have hung herself. So
I'm assuming she hung herself from the ceiling?
Baillee was 5'11". She's a tall girl, and they couldn't understand where she would have placed the cord.
I'm assuming like ceiling somewhere there. The beams and all.
Police and coronial officers returned to that house in April of the next year, and they studied the kitchen area and they took photographs. Police only recently took possession of her two mobile phones. Again, two mobile phones. It is unclear why her phones were not seized on the day of her death to determine who she last spoke to and to gain an insight into her state of mind. A spokeswoman for the coroner's court this week said that an active investigation was continuing into her death. The coroner has yet to decide whether to hold an inquest. So at the time of her death, Baillee had been in a relationship with Antony Hampel. He was 51 for about 9 months. Hampel is believed to be among the last people who communicated with Baillee before her death. There is no suggestion that he was involved or is responsible for her death. Hampel was the son of a Supreme Court. We already know this information. Hampel was a witness at the inquest into Phoebe's case, in 2016 podcast, Phoebe's Fall, there was a podcast. They discovered some stuff. I'm just kind of grazing through the article here. Like Phoebe, Baillee often dated older men, so it was a similarity between the two girls. Other similarities included that both of them were really good looking, had self-esteem issues, and difficulties coping with alcohol. So it seems like this explains why they would fall for a guy like Antony Hampel. Because he does look like he's, the party organizer, the big time party guy.
And to be honest with you, it did seem like, I don't know, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. Maybe they were looking for not necessarily older, but mature.
Yeah.
In terms of the way of thinking, the personality, and they found it in Antony.
Yeah. So Bailey's parents acknowledged that their daughter had her struggles and a taste for the wild side, but the lack of any note to explain her feelings before taking her own life, her decision to take out a life insurance policy 3 weeks prior to her death, and the mystery over where in the kitchen she could have affixed the cord to continue to disturb them. Let's put it that way. So, what's with this life insurance policy 3 weeks before her death? So she took out a life insurance policy 3 weeks before her death.
It's a big move for a 25-year-old. Was she 25? 23?
Yeah, she was 25.
I have never done that. Have you?
And you already are past that.
A little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah, but still. Me neither. I'm way past that. And I don't know.
It's a pretty big move.
Why would you do it? Why would a 25-year-old take a life insurance? I think it's either someone like convinced her to do it. Like in Lithuania, we have life insurance policies being like sold almost like door to door. Like I was even once in an interview for a job selling life insurance. It's not like, oh, you take a life insurance policy and oh my god, like it's something weird. Life insurance policy is like a regular thing here. Like a lot of people have it because they take the money that you pay every month and they invest it. And if, let's say, nothing happens to you during the period for which you have the policy, they will just give you back the money plus the investment.
Oh, nice. Should I take one?
Yeah, I mean, you could, but I mean, I feel like there's probably like better ways to like invest. That's just one of the things that they do. I mean, it probably can't hurt you.
Okay, going back to the case though.
Yeah, going back to the case. So I don't know if it's weird. I don't necessarily find it that weird.
I find it weird, mainly because the way she was described was this kind of like a party goer with a wild side, drinks a lot of alcohol. I don't know, it painted the picture for me like a happy-go-lucky young woman. And all of a sudden she took out a life insurance policy. That's
actually a very good point, the way you put it.
Mm-hmm. It just seems like it should be the last thing in her mind if the picture painted is correct.
That is true. Like, why would you take it? None of us can understand how she could have done this to herself. Her father said, "It's not impossible, but it's hard to see how." That's what he said. Like all families grappling with the loss of a child and sibling, father said it was difficult not to have any conclusive explanation after a year. Yes, we want resolution, but not in expense of the truth, not at the expense of the truth. So it is encouraging police and the coroner are being thorough. It's encouraging that the police are being thorough. Okay, let's talk about the day when it all happened. This was a winter's Saturday. Cameron and Sabine Schneider, the parents, they went to the local shops telling their daughter, 25-year-old Baillee, they would be back in an hour or two. She was curled up on the couch in the lounge room next to the family dog Edna, talking intently into her phone. She had attended a backyard barbecue with Mr. Hampel the night before and was upset after rowing with him. I don't know, like boat rowing?
Or fighting?
Oh, yeah. But by the time her parents left, she had recovered her composure. Basically, I remember reading from a previous source that Baillee died the next day after they broke up. So I feel like maybe that's what happened in this backyard barbecue. Antony and Baillee, they broke up, I assume. When the Schneiders returned home, they found their daughter Baillee lying unconscious on the kitchen floor, her head uncomfortably placed into the skirting boards near a corner cupboard. Around her neck was a cord from her bedroom. It was apparent that she had poured a glass of wine and had smoked a cigarette while her parents were out. Her portable Bluetooth speaker also appeared to have been used. So she played some music, I presume. According to her parents, the toxology report showed the traces of cocaine and a relatively low blood alcohol level. So she maybe also snorted some cocaine shortly before she died. Baillee had been having a difficult time in the month leading up to her death. She had become more secretive, and she began working at Melbourne's strip clubs, introducing her to unhealthy influences. She had become adept at concealing the reality of her life from her parents. So,
And you're telling me the same person bought life insurance policy?
I think now it makes more sense. Because when you start working at the strip club,
oh, you need it?
And you take cocaine, and you take drugs, and maybe you start fearing for your own life, and maybe it's okay to take one out. And life insurance policy doesn't mean, I think, that you're gonna die, right? Life insurance policy is like if you get injured, OD or something, I don't know, like you still get some money out. You don't need to die to get some money.
No, I don't think OD is part of the insurance area. If you OD.
Definitely. Probably not. I don't think so.
No, I'm confused because it seems like the life decisions were, I don't want to say bad, but a little bit not the best. But all of a sudden, there's a responsible decision of taking a life insurance policy.
Yeah, it does feel, I know, it feels out of place. It feels out of place. My question is, do you think that her parents knew that she was working at a strip club? And did Antony Hampel knew that she was working at a strip club?
I don't know.
That's a good question, though.
That's a very good question.
Mr. Hampel started seeing Baillee after the collapse of his previous marriage to a Melbourne woman, Emily Williams, who now lives in London. Mr. Hampel and Miss Williams, they began their relationship after the 2010 death of Phoebe Handsjuk in what remains one of Australia's most unusual deaths.
Oh, and one more thing. Let's go back a little bit to Baillee.
Yeah, for
How
sure.
long were her parents out? Because it seemed like she started drinking, doing drugs, playing music out loud, managed to hurt herself in just the span of... And her parents were like out in the local shops?
Yeah, so I think they were out for maybe a couple of hours. That's what I was thinking. You think that's weird? You think they were out for a long time?
I thought they were out for even longer, because why would you do drugs in your parents' place when you know that your parents are going to be back in a couple of hours? And drink and play loud music.
It could be just a regular thing.
I think so.
Yeah,
That's
because
pretty
I feel like Baillee wasn't already living a regular life.
And then in that span of, let's say, a couple of hours, she managed to also like wrap a gold cord around her neck.
Oh wait, so you're thinking someone else came in?
I don't even know. I can't. I'm trying to make sense of it, because if someone came in, wouldn't the neighbors like see a car or something?
Or like maybe there's a camera at the house.
Or something, but I'm just thinking about like the timing. If her parents went out to the local shops, they could be out for just a span of an hour, maybe two, maybe three max. But it seems like a lot of things happened in just a short period of time.
I didn't find this suspicious though.
You don't think so?
I thought it was regular. Parents went out. She's depressed. She poured herself a drink, smoked a cigarette,
And in that haze, she
maybe committed
Decided.
self-harm.
managed to wrap gold cord and find like a hook or something, like a crevice, I don't know, a beam.
Well, according to police, that's what happened.
It doesn't make much sense to me, but maybe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does. You would have to think what kind of mental state she was in.
Definitely, and I don't know. I can't also picture someone going in there, doing it to her, and then leaving.
I would feel like that would have to almost be like a professional job, like
Yeah,
to not leave any evidence behind.
in and out.
According to Miss Schneider's mother, Sabine, her daughter had said that Antony was trying to help her moderate her drinking, improve her self-esteem, and even tried to introduce her to veganism. Miss Schneider, a qualified dental assistant, had also begun studying again in a bid to get her life back on track. So she was now studying again. So this is actually looking quite good right now for Antony Hampel, according to what Sabine says. Sabine says that Antony was helping.
But then
Her
again,
daughter.
her daughter, Bailey, also used drugs and drank too much, well, alcohol
Yeah.
on the day she died. It's, I don't think it, I don't know, it doesn't add up to me.
What?
Like somehow she was being responsible months before and then on the day.
I don't think she was being responsible. I think I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that
Anthony was a good influence.
I'm not saying that either. Maybe Anthony was a bad influence. I'm just saying that Sabine, Bailey's mother, is saying that Bailey told her that Anthony was helping her. Obviously, Bailey could have just said anything to make.
Oh, wait, I just remembered. It was the day after they broke up.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense now. Maybe she was really trying to be more responsible growing up, you know. Maybe Anthony was a good influence, and when they broke up, she had a relapse.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm not saying that happened. Honestly, I'm not saying that happened at all. I'm not saying I know what happened. I'm just saying
It makes sense.
this kind of could make sense. Shortly before her death, this is, I think, a few days or a few weeks, I don't know exactly when, Bailey had been in contact. So this is Bailey herself, before she died, sometime shortly before she died. She was in contact with Victoria Police about an alleged SA incident in the early hours of the morning at a hotel near Albert Park. The details around what happened are murky, in an indication of how secretive and unpredictable aspects of her life had become. A man who was not Antony Hampel had arrived at the Schneider's residence late in the night and walked around the back of the house looking for Bailey. This was witnessed by Bailey's brother, who was up late partying with some old friends. So basically, Bailey was already together with Antony, and someone else other than Antony came looking for Bailey late at night. None of them recognized the man who was looking for Bailey, but she went with him seemingly willingly and got into this unidentified man's car. The next day, Bailey's younger sister Lily received a phone call from Antony. Antony told Lily that her sister Baillee had sent him a disturbing text message and was upset by something. And then basically Baillee then called Lily and told her about the essay that happened at the hotel, and Lily convinced her sister to report it to the police. A detective was assigned to investigate the complaint, but for some reason the young woman withdrew it and was adamant that she would not be pressing charges. So this is a weird one. Basically, shortly before she died, there was a strange man looking for her late at night. She left with him. The next day she sent a text message to Antony saying that I was assaulted. Then she called Lily, and Lily said report it to the police. So she did, and later she withdrew from pressing charges. So this is kind of strange. This to me, like, my just thought was that how strong is this relationship between Antony and Baillee? Yeah, kind of strange.
Very strange.
In her last Facebook post, Baillee Schneider posted on June 15 of 2018. She wrote powerfully in response to the essay and the murder of Melbourne comedian E. Dixon in Carlton North 2 days earlier. She was particularly exercised by a police message urging people to take care while walking alone at night. She said, how about it's just not okay to assault and murder women? How are women supposed to come forward about SA when the police make comments like this and victim blame? After Bailey's death, her mother contacted Antony, who she has never met, to let him know the grim news. He expressed his sympathy and added that he had been trying to help her blossom. Antony was not among the 150 or more people who attended the celebration of Bailey's life.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? Your girlfriend died and all of a sudden you're like, sorry, I was trying to help her blossom.
I feel like Antony Hampel, from the sound of it, had so many relationships. Like, I'm just getting the vibe that he had.
Yeah, it feels like so.
And honestly, to me, it almost seems like he was coming off of a long-time marriage when he met Baillee. And so he probably wasn't taking it too seriously. I'm just assuming. I could be wrong here.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. That this wasn't like super strong.
Or this wasn't as serious as I initially thought.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Exactly.
Maybe it's like a casual thing.
I was thinking it could be. You think it could be a casual just thing between them?
With the way he reacted, I would assume so. The reaction was pretty odd, though.
That he didn't went to the funeral, I believe?
He expressed his sympathy and added that he had been trying to help her blossom and then didn't go to the funeral. That's pretty odd. Maybe he was deeply hurt. I wonder if he went to Phoebe's funeral.
So the question here is, obviously the suspicion, I guess, to some people is that did Antony Hampel kill Phoebe? Put her in the garbage chute, feet down, and then also came into the house of Baillee one day after the breakup and murdered Baillee and made it seem like a self-harm? And he is this serial killer who's just planning events in Melbourne?
No, not necessarily. For some weird reason, I don't see him being connected to Baillee. It felt like her death is more of like
Just a strange coincidence.
Yeah, and maybe that essay affected her so badly or something like that. Or maybe someone did it, the strange guy from another place, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but for some weird reason, I don't see him being connected to Bailey. Just an odd, really odd coincidence.
I agree. I feel like from the information I found, Phoebe's death feels
On the other hand, yeah.
more weird
Yep.
than Bailey's. So I went online and tried to find the garbage chute from Phoebe's case. I found an image of a garbage chute, and it came up when I typed in Phoebe Handsjuk garbage chute. I don't know if it's it, because to me this garbage chute looks like something you would see in like a really old Russian apartment.
I was supposed to say that. This doesn't
Yeah.
look like a high-end apartment building.
But then again, how do you make a garbage chute look nice? Garbage chutes are nasty to begin
I
with.
don't know, like maybe the flooring should be better if it's a fancier apartment. We've seen the CCTV.
Oh no, it's a dead giveaway. I'm sorry, I'm gonna show this. It's a dead giveaway. There's a empty, like, what is this bottle called? Like pickle jar? There's an empty Russian pickle jar. This is a Russian. I'm just. Do you see that?
And I did notice the towel rack on the side.
The towel rack.
Right.
I've seen this towel rack growing up everywhere. This is like, doesn't look like they would put this thing in like a luxurious Melbourne downtown.
Come on, it's my towel rack at home.
And then would you see this like random broomstick at like the corner, and look at the
Look at the floor, look at the walls, look at everything basically.
man, how crazy is this? That, like, actually during my research I put it in thinking that this could legit be the place. I don't know, I think it's comedic that I even
Consider it for a moment there.
because I mean honestly,
Look at the flap.
damn, so
It's so Russian-y, I would say.
oh man, don't say that.
Oh, sorry.
So
Soviet Union-y?
yeah, back in the days. Right, so probably this is not it. So I guess those efforts to find the garbage. Have you found the garbage chute?
No, not really, but I'm assuming it's similar to the pictures earlier.
Yeah.
Same as
No, don't worry about it. I was looking at the pastries that we have.
sorry everyone, I thought there was a bug beside me.
No, I was just taking a look if we had some more pastries.
We still have a little bit, you can have all of it.
Thanks.
Okay, so anyways, I'm assuming that it's somehow similar to the pictures that we've seen earlier where the TV people were reenacting
Yeah.
the scene. Maybe it's more of like attached to a wall instead of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not the thing. Okay, so we can't go anything else from that garbage chute perspective. Now, what we can indeed find, is a bunch of information about Antony Hampel. And I mean, I just have to ask you a question. Have you went on to Antony Hampel's website where
No.
he's promoting, and look, we're not gonna get sued here. I'm not gonna say Antony Hampel
He
is
does
innocent.
he does look high end. I'm a little scared.
The wording that he used. Okay, I can't even load it. But like, if you go on Antony Hampel's website, you would find some crazy stuff. Give me a second. I'm gonna see if I could load it. Okay, I just got. Look, Antony Hampel right now is the CEO of his own event planning agency. I think he has 10 people working for it. The website is kind of nice. They kind of like show all the stuff they did. But it's kind of interesting because it literally starts as you log in. Who is Antony Hampel? Where has he came from? What inspires him as a marketer? And why is he rated one of the nation's most esteemed and creative event planners? The 21st century is complicated, but these questions we have the answers for. Here are all the juicy deets on the force behind 25 years of event management for 300 brands across 400 events in 5 countries and 15 cities to an audience of 4 million plus and growing. You telling me this guy is a serial killer?
No, I don't think so.
No, but then look, Antony Hampel lives for events. Even as a student, Ant Hampel was involved. He was part of the swim team, sky team, blah, 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 whatever. Look, smashing the ceiling is what Ant Hampel does best. The event planning stalwart has pioneered the theatrical meets practical approach to event production that has brought showbiz pizzazz to the corporate world. This is event planning that is not vanilla, event staging that is different, dynamic, and accountable. But it gets even worse. It takes a bold mind to achieve the seemingly impossible. Antony Hampel has a brilliant mind to deliver events that push the boundaries of what it means to entertain. Antony Hampel loves a laugh. Antony Hampel thrives under pressure. Antony Hampel shares and inspires.
Okay, anyway, he does seem like a massive events organizer. He catered to celebrities and concerts, so he's really doing it big time.
You don't say. Like, he's...
No, I'm just saying he's like probably the highest profile person we have here.
On the K, yeah, it would be like the most strange thing that he's a... Okay, so I don't know, I didn't dig into his life too much, or just like what I could find online. I found his Facebook. He looks like he's married now. He looks like he has a kid now because there's a picture with him holding.
Don't show the kid.
Definitely not. And that's it. So all I'm saying is that it would be kind of weird for me to think that this guy right now is organizing events and he is a serial killer.
Looks friendly, looks outgoing. He's definitely out there.
Yeah, and he looks good. The one thing about it is that at 56, he almost looks...
He's 56?
Yeah, or something.
Okay, that's impressive.
Maybe like 57. He's almost 60 and he looks better than when he was 40. You know.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
So, yeah, that's the information that I...
Okay, so going back to Phoebe's case.
Yeah.
What do you think happened there?
Phoebe's case. So I found another article about Phoebe's case with some additional information. I'm not going to read. I'm just going to quickly mention a few things. So yeah, we do have confirmation that he went to the gym. One thing that we didn't talk about Phoebe's case, and this is very important. I kind of want to tell you really quickly about it. And you tell me if you've seen this information. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what happened when Antony came back into the apartment when, Phoebe was already dead. So when he looked at the kitchen counter, he noticed Phoebe's keys and handbag. That was puzzling because she wouldn't leave without the keys. Several post-it notes containing strange scribbles were stuck on the kitchen counter. The cleaner had wiped the benches down the previous day, so the notes were new and fresh. He went into the bedroom and found what he later called a shrine on the bed, consisting of a photo of himself and Phoebe, a photo of her cat, and a whole lot of rambled notes. The notes she writes when she smashed and they don't make a lot of sense, and he later described them. There were candles burning, and Phoebe's hair straightener tongs were on the floor plugged into the socket in the bathroom. her father, Len, and blah blah. So basically, this is the one thing that we didn't talk about. Apparently, she left weird notes in the house, according
What
to
kind and what's the content of it?
scribbles. I don't know. It was never mentioned.
Conveniently. Never mentioned. I don't know. I don't find it strange. Candles. Could be scented candles. It wasn't.
No. So wait, do you think that Antony Hampel would have written them? No, it's clearly hers.
It's
She
clearly
wrote.
hers, and I don't see the hair straightener in the bathroom. That's where it's supposed to be, or in the bedroom. Candles could be scented candles. Could just be for some sort of relaxation mode. The shrine. It could be just a collection of pictures of the people and animals that were important to her. You know.
And this is the last one. Last
Okay.
interesting detail we didn't talk about. Len, Phoebe's father, and Antony have different memories of what happened shortly before Phoebe was found.
Okay.
According to Len, who bases his recollection on the numbers shown on his phone bill, Antony answered the call on Phoebe's phone. So Len is saying that Antony answered the call on Phoebe's phone because, he probably found, Phoebe's phone on the kitchen table, blah, blah. He answered the phone and said that he didn't hear Len call. Okay, sorry. Antony said he didn't hear Len calling Phoebe's phone, but called him from his own phone because he thought that Phoebe might have gone to meet her father. So basically, this is a weird detail because they remember this differently. Len says that he called Phoebe's phone and Antony picked up the phone, but Antony is saying that he called Len from his own phone. So I think that this is not necessarily incriminating in any way, because if, Phoebe is not at the house, maybe Antony just forgot that he picked up the phone from
What's the purpose though? Because if they called each other, well, they said that they called one another.
Yeah. Well,
What's the purpose of the call?
The purpose is that later on in the day, all three of them planned to have dinner together, and Len was calling. He says that he was calling Phoebe to ask exactly when and where he needs to be, and he says that Antony picked up, but Antony said that he called Len to check if Phoebe was with him. So it's kind of like weird. They're
It's
both
really odd.
they're both saying that they called each other, but I think what Len is saying that he has proof that he called Phoebe because he has the bill for his phone. So I believe Len.
I believe Len.
So I'm thinking, why is Antony? Was she just
Out of shock,
forgetting?
maybe?
Maybe it's all blurred. What do you think?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't have anything else. I think it's actually not even that strange the more I think about it. Is it strange? Guys who are listening, is it strange?
Oh, come on. Phoebe still ended up at the bottom of a garbage chute. It is strange.
No, that's strange. I'm saying the phone situation.
Oh.
This detail with Phoebe's death is very strange. I'm saying about this particular phone incident. Is it strange or not? To me, it's not strange.
To me, it's not strange as well.
Because whatever. I could see how
Out
Antony,
of everything that happened, you could just...
he may just have forgotten about it. All right, so that's it. I don't have any more research on this. What do you think happened to Phoebe? First, what do you think happened to Phoebe, and what do you think happened to Baillee?
Okay, Baillee, I don't think Antony is somehow connected to it in any way. It's very unfortunate, but it really could be self-harm or whoever that strange guy was.
Strange guy that went to their home and apparently assaulted Baillee.
Yeah, but the thing is, it would have been nice if the police did a better job, like trying to find if there are any other fingerprints, But since we don't have any information, or at least public information about it, we could only assume. And for Phoebe, this is a tough one.
Oh, sorry. There was one more detail. A couple more details we didn't
Okay.
talk about Phoebe's case. There were no fingerprints on the chute.
Oh yeah, that's what I was supposed to say.
There was no fingerprints on the chute, and there was a large shoe print near their apartment, which was never cleaned. Shoe print? I don't know how to make sense of that.
Shoe print. How would you have maybe it's carpeted?
Maybe it's carpeted, but then again, there was a guy delivering food to Antony on that same day. The guy who delivered food to Antony, because get this, when Phoebe is already dead, Antony thinks that, oh, Phoebe maybe ran off somewhere. I don't know. He ordered takeout from the same restaurant that the three of them were supposed to go to. He called that restaurant and he ordered takeout. The takeout boy went to the apartment, went up to the 12th floor, knocked on the door, and was like, yo, what's happening downstairs? Antony was like, what do you mean? And then the delivery boy was like, there's police everywhere. So maybe that boy, delivery boy, he left that shoe print.
Okay.
But I find it extremely weird how Phoebe is missing with all her stuff, and Anthony's just like, okay, let me just order some pizza right now. Or like, not pizza, sorry, but from
Something.
something.
And
right
when
now.
is Len? Where is Len? I meant.
Len is probably at home waiting.
Yeah. So they canceled the dinner.
I think they canceled the dinner because Phoebe was missing. I think at some point Phoebe's family were suggesting to Antony to inform police that she's missing, but he said, "Oh, they're not gonna talk to me until 48 hours have passed."
Oh, okay. And then
So I think they maybe all think that she's missing, but he's just like, "Let me get food from that same place."
Okay, I don't find this weird. Maybe it is, but I personally would be like, if I was Antony, I would also do the same thing. Maybe he was starving, and in theory, all of Phoebe's important stuff were still in the apartment. Maybe he was thinking, oh, she's probably just within the neighborhood. We'll come back soon.
Yeah.
And just grab something. I'm really hungry. I can see that happening.
Okay, so now tell me what happened to Phoebe.
Oh no,
But what do you think happened to Phoebe?
I don't know exactly. I just couldn't see it being self-harm.
I just can't even imagine someone trying to end their life jumping down a garbage chute. Mm-hmm. So
And the lack of fingerprints on the chute.
that is weird.
It's really tough. I mean, it was obviously really tough to, based on the pictures, to squeeze in there.
But then again, did police really even look for those fingerprints? Because they didn't look at the fingerprints inside the house.
Exactly, right?
So is this even a real?
How would they know?
Is this even a real?
I have no idea.
Okay, the only thing that I will say here right now is that for me, I don't know, man. I just find it like what she had a couple of wines, broke a glass,
She also had the medication though on top of it,
medication. She like
and
broke.
it's not a couple of wines.
Yeah, so she was kind of like sleepwalking with a bloody shirt. She just cut herself. She threw all the garbage and the bloody shirt in the chute, and then she just somehow sleepwalking like, oh, let me also go down the chute. She climbs up and she goes down the chute.
She was sluggish, I believe.
Yeah.
How could you squeeze yourself in?
But then-
The sober lady barely even did it.
But then again, if Antony Hampel is responsible, wouldn't there be like CCTV footage of him coming back earlier?
I mean, it
Or
was
someone-
wiped out.
Yeah.
48 hours. The police
Conveniently.
weren't able to.
It's just such a weird death, honestly. And I wonder if police ever looked into anyone else from the apartment other than Antony Hampel,
Yeah.
like a next door neighbor,
Or someone else who.
maybe like went.
Because there were
up-
2 wine glasses.
yeah, 2
someone
wine
was with
glasses. Maybe someone else was there.
Could be Anthony, could be someone else.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe that like she would probably. I just don't see it. Like I can't believe it. You know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. So I will say I don't believe that she went down on her own accord.
Yes. If she
So
went down.
so someone killed Phoebe.
I think so.
Phoebe
if she
was
only.
murdered.
Yes.
It's not accident. Phoebe was
I would
murdered.
assume so, yeah.
It looks like Phoebe was murdered, but like by whom? Yeah.
If she only fell headfirst, I would be probably more open to considering self-inflicted.
She was an athletic rock climber. Is it possible that she was like, oh look, she's kind of like half sleepwalking. She threw in like some stuff, and she's like, I wonder if I could. This is like a challenge for me. Maybe I could also like climb up a little bit, because she was a rock climber, and rock climbers do climb weird.
And squeeze.
Yeah, squeeze and climb. Yeah, they do like that. So they're like, so is there a chance that she's somehow in a sleepwalking state? She's pulling that thing down, and like she's okay. Can I like squeeze myself? Oh, maybe it's a challenge. Oh, I could get in, and then she accidentally just falls down.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Beats me.
I don't know. That's the only thing that I could think about. But it's so unbelievable.
She is also injured.
Yeah, it's super unbelievable.
And if she was injured, how come there's no other traces of blood? Maybe the injury wasn't that grave?
What do you mean? I don't get it.
You said that she hurt herself initially, no?
I think Antony Hampel had bruises from a martial arts class.
No. Phoebe. Like, she cut herself.
Oh, yeah, she did. Yep.
I can't remember. Was it her hand or something? Was it her hand or something?
It wasn't explained. And we don't even know if she cut herself. I think the coroner kind of like suggested that that's what happened.
So I don't know. The fact that there were no other traces of blood found anywhere else is kind of odd to me. But then again, these are the same police who did not even check fingerprints for the wine glasses.
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
I think that's what I already said. What I think.
Do you think there was... Okay. We're just assuming here. We're not, like, pointing fingers at anyone. I would just like to ask, do you think there's a possibility for, pulling some strings?
No. I just don't buy it. It's just so hard to do. Would anyone go out of their way to risk their own freedom for Antony Hampel? Nah. Unless it's like, and in such a short time frame, and to pull it off, I just don't think so. I just don't think. I think if Antony Hampel had anything to do with it, I think he is very lucky to get away with it, because I don't think he would have the time.
Maybe that's the reason the police did not do a good job.
No, it was just some random cops on the scene. They weren't like briefed, and these guys have mortgages, and they're just cops with like families to feed.
But how come they didn't call anyone else to investigate further?
Because they were like, oh, it's a self-harm. Okay, case closed. And then the family later on started saying, how? It's so strange. And then police were, okay, yeah. Maybe the two guys who showed up, they could have done a better job. I don't know how many guys showed up. I'm just saying as an example.
Yeah.
So I do think that like there's no cover-up.
And there was incompetence though. And negligence.
Not necessarily like they're doing it on purpose. I think they just messed up. I think police just messed up. I just don't think they did it on purpose. I just don't feel like they did it on purpose. I feel like police messed up because maybe they never seen or heard anything like that. Like there's a...
It's very bizarre,
garbage chute.
Even now.
Yeah.
We've been talking about a lot of different cases, and this one is one of the weirdest ones.
It's one of the weirdest ones we ever talked about. I don't think there's a cover-up. I think there could be a chance that Antony Hampel knows more about what happened.
That one he's letting on.
Yeah, I think there is a chance for sure, but it's so weird. I would like to actually hear our audience members.
Oh yes, please
chime in.
Let us know. Let us know what you think. Other perspectives are always amazing.
Yeah.
And
someone, please give us a rational explanation to Phoebe's death, please.
Yes, please.
And we will talk to you guys.
Oh, 1 second.
Sorry.
No, because I just wanted to say, like, just as an ending, I still would, like, maybe, I don't even know how to word it properly because Phoebe's death was so strange, but in
Yeah.
a way was still human, and she died all alone in cold, in garbage. She bled out basically,
Yeah.
and it might be strange, and we're talking about this, but it's one of the loneliest deaths we also ever talked about here.
Actually, that's true. And it's a good thing that you paused here for a second. Phoebe actually was hoping to go to India to work in a charity
That's
for
amazing.
aid. Yeah, so this person seemed like the type of person that had your back.
Yeah, I mean, she also had problems, but who doesn't?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
yeah, just want to give her a little bit of like, I don't know,
Humanity.
humanity here after. It's a very strange case.
Definitely.
And hopefully, even long after her death, hopefully justice will be served
And hopefully she's in a better place.
and the truth would come out.
Oh man, we just teamed up on this ending really nicely.
Yes.
Okay, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. And let us know what you think happened to Phoebe, what happened to Baillee Schneider as well. And what do you think about Antony Hampel? Perhaps he is just an innocent guy who just ended up in weird circumstances.
Coincidentally, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, and we'll see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.